concepts that I really enjoy writing about is this idea of self-destruction because of not accepting what is in the mirror. So not accepting who you are, not accepting your reflection. And so in the first novel, Make Me Free, from the Lucifer's duology, and she's born and raised, mostly raised in Detroit, Michigan. She grows up without her mother, and her father tells her that she's gone for reasons. And she has this kind of hole of abandonment in her heart. And so she's trying to fill it by finding where she belongs. She has a tough time with that because she is an awkward girl. She is neurodivergent coded, and she's also plus size. And so she goes away to college 2 hours away, and she is trying to find where she belongs, and she joins a campus ministry. She's thinking that with it being a campus ministry, it's like an evangelical ministry, that this is where she's going to belong. She tries to basically be accepted, and that's not quite how it works out. But she does have a small core of friends, and one of those friends is Luke, who Luke has his own arc related to this concept. But in any case, Anne has a crush on Luke, but Luke expresses that he does not feel the same way, but he does still want to be friends, and he's sincere about that, and so that's something that she appreciates. So she feels that God is telling her that Luke is the one, he's her soulmate, that they're going to get married one day. She believes this deep in her heart. Obviously, she's not going to tell Luke because she is not trying to make herself look even weirder than she already does. But it's something that she holds to her core, and it's one of the factors in her moving to Lasanti, Ohio, once she and Luke graduate from college. So Luke is from Lasanti. He moves there for veterinary school, and she decides that she's going to move there too. She gets a job down there, and she is acting on faith because she believes that this relationship will become romantic. On top of that, she's hoping that moving to another state will mean that she will find her people. She'll become, I don't want to say popular, but she will finally find her folks, and she will finally be accepted. This will be a new start for her. Well, she moves to Lasanti, and she finds that acceptance is hard to come by. It's a very insular town, and a lot of the people there have lived there their whole lives. They've made their friends already, and it's difficult to break in if you're an outsider. So she is struggling with that. In addition, this hope that things would work out with Luke romantically doesn't seem to be panning out. So she decides that she is going to start dating, which in and of itself is a good thing. Move on from this person that is not into you. And so that's, it's a good thing. But she finds herself in relationships and situations that are not what she would want and devalue her as a person. Being with someone who is looking for the bare minimum, or that expects that she will accept the bare minimum. Being with someone who is already with someone else. Those kinds of actions, she's kind of acting out sexually. It's, pretty spicy. But this is a sort of a way of her running away from the reality of her situation and dealing with the big hole that is left by her mother not being in her life. In Tadaya's Gain, this idea of self-destruction because of not wanting to see yourself, that also manifests with Luke. So Luke is the main character in Tadaya's Gain, and there is a 20-year time skip. Luke has dealt with a marriage that didn't work out, career that didn't work out, and is on the brink of literal self-destruction, taking himself out of this world. That is like sort of the culmination of other self-destructive things that he has done, because what you find in To Die Is Gain, when he shares his story as he and his best friend Paul go on a road trip out west, is that he has tried to please his parents. He spent a lot of his time trying to please his parents, trying to make them happy, and trying to basically be the better brother over his older brother Trey, who is very successful in his career. He is also married with children, and Luke just doesn't have any of those things. And so he's tried to live up to this image of Trey. He's tried to do that with his career. He's tried to do that with his marriage, but he has self-destructed essentially by not taking care of himself mentally. He has a lot of mental health issues, but he hasn't maintained himself in that way. And he's also turned to substances, mainly alcohol, to deal with the pain of not feeling like he is going to be like accepted truly by his family. You know, I just enjoy writing that because I think that is part of the human condition. I think just about all of us want to be accepted. We want to belong. We want to be part of a community that embraces us for who we are. And when that doesn't happen, like whether that is rejection from family, whether that's rejection from communities that maybe it's expected that they will accept us, when we get that rejection, that is painful, and sometimes people don't want to face that, and so they maybe self-medicate or get involved in things that seem like they feel good in the moment but are ultimately not great for themselves. And so I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. And so if you can, and you'd like to read a stories about characters like this that are flawed and are dealing with some of these issues, like these issues and more, then definitely pick up Make Me Free and To Die Is Gain. These can both be read as standalone novels. They are also linked, so if you read them both, you will also see like a really cool story arc there. So, so check it out, print, ebook, and also check out my other videos. Like, subscribe, and share.